Good afternoon. Hello, lovelies. Just hopping on to just show you quickly Christmas wreaths. I know I've spoken to a few people and they were asking how to do my Christmas wreaths. So walking in the forest this morning, so I went for a bit of a forage and just picked up some fir tree. Just snipped a few branches off of that. Got some ferns from the forest, which are lovely, got this sort of bronzy coppery colour at the moment, which is great. What else we got? Some lovely holly, a bit of ivy. I like it if you can get it so that you've got the buds on there, and oh, some moss. You don't have to have moss. I've got this lovely stuff that you find on the forest floor. You'll probably find it in lots of different places actually at the moment. It's really abundant, and that can be quite handy for your wreath making. Also, if you want to, you can have things like fir cones. These ones are actually sprayed with some copper spray, but you can leave them as they are. Good old-fashioned. Got some cinnamon sticks. They're handy to either have a pair of good garden scissors or secateurs, and either some garden twine works, or if you can get your hands hold of some of this is crafting wire. Now this, as you can see, is really super duper thin. Really bendy, really flexible, so this is great for winding around, but if not, you can use a twine. Garden twine works, garden wire, anything like that actually works really well. Okay, now if you can, or you may have seen in the shops, you can buy the already made wreaths like this. That works really well. Or if not, if you can't get one of those, or you could always use cardboard cut into, cut a cardboard circle, obviously quite a strong rigid cardboard, and then cut it, and it will do the same job for you. It's just something to use as a base to hold, to put your things on. So these are ones that I made earlier on in the year, on first lockdown. I've just used some hazel, some willow, and what else have I used? I actually used holly as well. So in the springtime, you can cut, when you get the new fresh shoots, branches on the trees, all the sap and the energy is going up into those shoots, so it makes them really supple, really pliable, really easy to work with. So next spring, go and chop yourself some long branches, and then just make one of these. But if you can't make one of these, like I say, you can pick them up in most shops. A lot of the craft shops actually, you'll see them for a couple of pounds to use. Okay, that's what I've started off to use as my base, and then you just start to build up with what you've got. Now there's, I always make a wreath every year, and I just go foraging for things around in the forest, around in parks, woods, whatever you've got nearby, and then just use what's available. And there's never any right or wrong way to make your wreath. I think the great thing about making your own wreath is you make it individual, so you use what you've got to put on it. So to start off with, I've used on one, I've got a couple of wreaths that I'm going to show you. This is how I started on one of them, like this, and then I just use the wire or the twine and just start at a point and tie it round, make yourself a knot around, and then just wrap it around to start to hold the base of your wreath on. Okay, and then from there, just you can carry that on around. If you're going to use fir tree, just pop that, carry on all the way around, And you can make these things as thick, you know, as dense as you want to, or put as little on as you want to. And then from there, start to build up. So maybe put a good layer of this sort of thing around. And then you can start with building up with your ivy. And you can trim anything down, take off what you don't want. And then again, just start to put that around. And again, use twine or garden wire, whatever you've got available, you know, string, anything like that. And again, just layer that over and then start winding around. And then the great thing is with these kind of wreaths, if you can get your hands on one, is you can actually poke things in. So just start to build up your layers. And then when it gets to things like your holly, either twine it around, or you can start just to sort of poke it where you want it to go. You see, so it's just sort of poked in. And any of the leaves that you need to, if you need to trim them, the branches, trim them off a bit. If you've got too much leaf on there that you want off, you know, make it as fat and as thin as you want to. And then just keep that going, and just, like I say, put as much on as you want to, or as little on as you want to. So that's the basis to start off with. And then to decorate, again, a good old rummage around. If you can find yourself some fir cones, if you pick them up off the floor and they're closed, leave them for a couple of days somewhere where it's warm, windowsill, if you've got an airing cupboard, and they will then open up. And these ones I've just sprayed a little bit with some copper spray, but you can just leave them as they are, or spray them with silver spray, as you like really. And then to attach these, again, either if you've got some of the wire, if not cotton, because cotton's really thin, if you round the bottom of the cones, as they start to open up, you can get like this wire just sits around the base, and then I'm just going to tie it like that, and then just to tie it, attach it to your wreath wherever you want it to sit. So whether you've got wire or cotton, you can do that with those. And again, if you want to cinnamon sticks, again, they're great. So again, either get your twine, tie it round like so, and again, then you can tie that on, attach, or use cotton, garden wire, anything that you've got really. All of the stuff that I use on the wreaths that I make, alright, is either foraged or it's bits and bobs that I've had, you know, for a while, that I keep, gather and collect over sort of the year. When I see things, I just nab them and get them and just store them away in the garage. The other great thing, lots of people like this time of year, is your oranges. This is so easy to make. You know, there's always that one orange in the bowl, or there's always that one satsuma or clementine that nobody's eaten and is looking a bit sad. So just slice it very thin, and then pop on either greaseproof paper on a baking sheet, and then just sit them in the oven on a low heat for about an hour, half an hour, have a look, maybe leave them in there for an hour, and they'll start to dry out like this. And then bring them out and either sit them, if they're still a bit soggy, just sit them on top of a radiator, or if you've got an airing cupboard, in an airing cupboard, somewhere that they're warm and they can carry on drying out, and then just store them in a paper bag. So, and then you get that lovely, they still smell orangey, so that all smells gorgeous. So I'm just going to show you a couple of wreaths that I've knocked up, just to give you ideas this afternoon to do. So this one's very simple, very plain. It's just keeping it really simple and plain. So this was some larch that I used earlier on in the year to make the basis of wreath with. and it already has the cones on there. And then I've just put some moss in, and this moss actually will dry. And then just very simple, I've just put some orange on there. Actually, I think these were clementines that nobody had been eating, and then a couple of cinnamon sticks. So that's just that one there. Very simple, very easy, very, you know, not too much fuss. So you don't have to have a lot to make these if you don't want to. Okay, so now we're going to come over. I've got a couple that I made earlier hanging up. So I'm just going to come over, and I'm just going to switch the camera around so you can see. So this one here, again, this the wreath, the bases of the wreath I made earlier on in the year. And then, as you can see, this one is from one of the trees in the garden, which gets these little cones on them. And so this time of year, it's green through spring and summer, and then autumn, winter, some of the leaves, the branches come off, and it turns this lovely sort of rusty coppery colour. So that's just the basis over the wreath. And then here, these are just some hydrangeas, again, that have just been cut once they'd finished at the end of the season, and then I've just stored them in the garage waiting to use. So if you've got somewhere that you can store, they don't take up much room. I just keep them all these bits and pieces in a bucket. And then on this one I've just added some, keeping with the colour theme, there's some cinnamon down there, and some baubles, and a bell. So that's just that one. So, you know, you can put baubles on there if you want to, you can put ribbon on there. The piece of ribbon, I couldn't find a piece of ribbon for this one that I had, and then I opened a little box that had these bells in, and perfectly there was a lovely, gorgeous, coppery coloured piece of ribbon there. So that's gone on there. And it doesn't have, you know, to me, they don't have to be perfectly round. The quirkier, and then the better. And then this is probably going down your more traditional line. So there's the fir tree, it's got the holly, it's got the ivy. And then also, if you've got in your garden, I'm just going to show you down here, I've put in various different places, it's some rosemary. Great colour because it's green. You get the lovely scent of rosemary. Up and around here you can see there's some lavender just dropped in there as well. So just very plain, very simple. Again, had a piece of red ribbon in my scrap box, so just grab that out to go with the berries. And then this one has just got a little, let me see him on there, a little robin attached to it. So again, very simple, just with stuff that you know, I foraged from the forest, from the garden. So hopefully there's something there that to inspire you to get crafting your own wreath, you know. And if you couldn't forage the greenery and things like that, then, you know, the only thing on this one, on these wreaths that I've paid for, is the I had some of the very thin wire, and that was it. Apart from that, the greenery has all come from the forest. Like I say, the ribbon has come from scrap boxes in various different places. Baubles, great time to buy baubles is either just before Christmas when the sales are on, or after Christmas. I've got a box of baubles that, you know, every year they sell them off, you know, for like 50p a box or a pound a box or something like that. And I just keep them stored, and then they're great to use to add on to wreaths and things like that. But, you know, just get creative, see what you can find in your house, if you've got craft box, if you've got sewing box, you know, and just pop on what you fancy, make it your own wreath. Anyway, if anybody wants to come and forage, if anybody needs anything, any greenery, I can either let you know where to find it in the forest up here, or I can leave you a bag out by the door, or you can come and have go on a walk with you to help you find the things that you need. And then in the spring, if anybody wants a wreath making, just so that they've got the basis for next year, let me know, because again I will be making some, and so I'm happy to make them for people if anybody wants any. Anyway, have a good rest of the day, and I look forward to seeing pictures from you on what you've been up to. Anyway, bye bye.